I have a face for radio. Every once in a while, I invest a little bit into my hobby after I take care of things around the house and all the other baloney that you have to pay for in life when you start adulting. Adulting is fun most of the time, but they increase or they better technology as the days go by, which makes things really, really cool. So my son up there in beautiful, freezing cold New York invested in his M Audio input-output device. So I gave that company a gander. Such an old fart word to use right there. And I came to like this 192.4, and for two reasons. I can carry it in my computer bag when I'm out on tour. I'll sit in a hotel room on a day off after I take care of my coach and mix, or now that I have this, I can actually speak on my videos. Previously, I was using the 24C from Personas, and even though it's a very cool thing, it's a little bit too large for me to carry in my computer bag, but it is still a fascinating input-output device. So I am still just a dad that is a hobbyist that loves using Personas Studio One Pro and messing around with RC cars and airplanes, which is going to be happening after the holidays. More airplanes. Haven't touched them since 2005. I was into quarter scale helicopters and airplanes and planted them all except for one. But technology's increased in that and bettered itself. Unbelievable technology involved in RC airplanes these days. Anyway, as I said, I'm just a dad that likes to do this as a hobby. And what I'm going to do is just compare this microphone, this MPM 1000 from Marantz, and I'm going to plug in a Shure SM58 and let you hear the difference. And you can make your own opinions after that, and everything will be fine. Yeah, I don't get paid for any of this. Nobody sends me free shit in the mail. I don't want any of that. I just want to share my opinions. Hopefully my son up there in New York will learn, because we're 1,700 miles apart. And he's a good dude. He's going to try some of his stuff at he's going to try to do some of his own music. I just make some noise to play underneath my hobby videos. It's nothing serious. I never want to be in a band, although there are a few dudes I still like to jam with. But that's kind of hard when you live thousands of miles apart also. But because of the cool things like Personas Studio One and the internet and emailing stems back and forth, you could actually record with your friends without leaving the comfort of your back room, like mine. Anyway, on with the comparison. This is the Marantz MPM 1000 condenser microphone. You do need to have the phantom power turned on from the 192.4, whereas the Shure SM58 is a dynamic microphone and it does not need phantom power. You just plug that baby in and it sounds good. This microphone here sounds great, just the way it is. You can get that nice proximity effect like they do on the radio stations, like Howard Stern, and do some crazy stuff. You could turn on some inserts, and right now that change, although it sounds a little bit overdriven, if I'm about 3 inches away, this is a compressor, EQ, a gate, which I have to adjust. It's just on just for this demonstration, and a limiter so that I don't go clipping and making it sound bad on YouTube. And this is with all that stuff off. So you can have some fun with it, but the microphone sounds great just by itself. Let's start with the. Let's go over to the SM58. So to get the same level on an SM58 coming into channel 1, I have to crank the gain up on the 192.4. In order to get the same level of -6 on Persona Studio One, I have to crank the gain knob on the 192.4 nearly all the way up to 10, because of course it doesn't have phantom power to help out the little op amp inside, or whatever they use, whatever magic they put inside the microphone. So the SM58 is a microphone that I've seen on pretty much any stage I've ever worked on in various capacities. You could use it for a guitar cabinet mic, which is probably not the most useful. An SM57 is better for that, but endless microphones. It's been used for endless vocal microphones, from backup singers to lead singers. Almost anybody you see on MTV, unless they're endorsed by somebody else, is probably using an SM58 or a wireless capsule with an or they're using a wireless mic with an SM58 or a Beta 58 capsule in it. SM58 is a great sounding microphone all by itself. So if I was to do the same fun with the inserts here and just have a little bit of fun, here we go. We turn on all the inserts to compressor and EQ. Probably going to have to adjust it. And there it is. It's an awesome proximity effect. And we'll just back that down a little bit. And it sounds pretty good just by itself. It sounds pretty good just like that. One of the differences between the SM58 and the MPM 1000 is that the direction of the air coming out of your mouth, it seems to be more direct if you have the SM58 just a little bit in line with your nose, because your nose, your nasal cavities, are a big part of your voice. Whereas the MPM 1000, you'd have to have it a little bit higher up in your face, and to talk directly into the diaphragm. It has a diaphragm, so you can hit it from the front or the back and get the proximity effect if you're after that with that microphone. Either microphone would be fine for doing voiceovers for YouTube stuff or singing, whatever. I am not going to sing. I'm going to save the universe from any of that torture. Nobody on this planet or in this universe needs to hear me sing. It is horrible. I sound like a drunken frog. I know there's probably a place for that on a comedy network, but nah, my wife just ends up yelling at me or laughing at me. Sounds good in the shower, but she still laughs at me. So within Persona Studio One, I have to get rid of the popping noise, which I could do with the EQ. I could do that with the compressor, the limiter. I'm not going to do that on tape. But if I turn the compressor off, listen to the difference. There's a huge difference. But I can crank the gain, but I can crank the gain after turning off the compressor. And it doesn't pump because I don't have it adjusted for this microphone. I have it adjusted for the MPM 1000. So let's turn the compressor back on, and you hear the gain come back. So bring down the preamp again to get me back up to, now we're down to minus 24. Now we're down to minus 24. Let's turn off the EQ. And this is the SM58 without any EQ. For the MPM 1000, I boosted the highs a little bit because it has a huge diaphragm, which is very conducive to low end frequencies. EQ is back in. The gate is something you can adjust for silence in between passages. It helps in editing. It helps make a it helps when you're reading a script. It cuts down on the noise in between sentences. You can adjust that. Here it is without a gate. You can hear all the noise in between the passages. You could hear the air conditioner in my house. You can hear me taking a breath. You can hear my lips smacking, my tongue moving, which is kind of annoying. But if you put that gate back in, all that stuff is gone, like magic. So with the limiter is something I had to learn to use with digital. Not I paid attention to it when I was in the analog world, but in digital world, it's way more important because if you clip, you ruin a good take. You could Persona Studio One will not let you export with information that's been clipped. So if you put a limiter on there and you set it to your ceiling of like -3, it will never go over -3. And you could have a soft knee or a hard knee on there and make it sound pretty good and still not go over. See, you can't see from that camera angle or this one, but it occasionally will clip. But that's not why we're here. We're not here for the SM58. Let's switch that again. All right, so now we have to back this off. We have to back it off probably to around there because we're going to start clipping. And we don't want to clip. So I'm running this MPM 1000 at 7 on the gain of the M Audio 192.4. If we go to the limiter, bring the ceiling down to -4-ish, -3.5. And we could adjust the compressor to make it stop breathing. We can bring the ratio down so we don't need it that crazy. Let's see, input gain and mix. Have a soft knee, makes it a little bit less choppy. Threshold. The lower you make the threshold, the quicker the compressor will come on. That's pretty cool. So you have to mess with that until it sounds good and you hear it stop breathing. So if I raise the threshold a little bit, let's bring it up to like -30. You hear it. It's This is quick. Really quick. A really quick attack, just like that. But if you don't want it to breathe, you open up the release. This is 690 milliseconds, a little over half a second. This is 1 3/4 seconds. It fades out a lot better. So with the EQ and the compressor, and you could get it to stop making the breathing sound. You could do side chain, low cut filters, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to give you an opinion about the quality of this M Audio microphone preamp or I/O, and this MPM 1000 is a hell of a combination for the money. It wasn't very expensive and it sounds good. That's my point of view. That's my opinion. Now I just have to work on tweaking it to make it sound better. I mean, it sounds pretty good already. I have a face for radio. Not a very good voice for radio. But I have to work on this. Sounds good so far. And thanks for watching. Thank you. So what am I going to do? I am going to play a couple things through I'm going to play a couple things through this new interface, and I'm I'm not going to sing. I'm going to save the universe from my singing. And I'm just going to play a simple passage. I'm going to get out my 7-string fretless hybrid bass and my 12-string bass and see what it does for a simple, clean passage. All right, stand by. So this is just my Explorer going into Persona Studio One, use an amplifier through what their version of a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier kind of thingy with a British 412 cabinet, clean with a little bit of chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now we'll switch over. Just messing around with this. I haven't played this bass in like a year and a half. So here it goes. Sounds pretty killer. So let's try it. Here we go. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but we're not going to use it, so we're just going to mute that one too. Let's go try another one. We'll try another bass.